Hey ho, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. We got a great show for you today. Going to be a lot of fun. We got two great guests, but before we talk about those, let's say hi to everybody, starting off with our cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hi, everyone. Oh, it's going to be a weird show. We have a witch on. Ooh. She's going to do spells on everyone out there. She's going to make you all intelligent. She's going to make you all dress well. She's going to make you all have hair combs and proper makeup. And gentlemen, get rid of those beards. And no ripped jeans and no spears and no tattoos. Everybody's going to look clean cut and beautiful. That's what Witchy Poo said. Not really. I'm saying that.
So anyway, what's up, chat room? We got a lot of people in the chat room.
I'm not finished. Maleducato.
Doesn't matter. Like, we have to say hi to everybody.
Rudeness,
and then you talk.
Rudeness.
Say hi to everybody.
Interrupting
and then you talk, which,
rudeness.
by the way, they love our shirts. Thank you, everybody.
Interrupting rudeness.
Actually, my shirt's a Jimmy Star shirt. And
my shirt's far more important.
And we're going to talk about
because you can't see it because the thing is across it and the friggin' dog is on me. Astro, go over there. I'm wearing a pool cover up that my daughters gave me maybe 35 years ago, 40 years ago. They were young girls. Leslie was maybe 15 and Deirdre was like 8. Astro, come on, you're blowing my whole thing. Get him over there. Buttons they gave me. I will never get rid of this cover up. I found, I'm doing my closets, so I've been taking clothes out, and I found this all the way in the back of my closet. To me, it's the most important piece of goods I own. And the buttons read, Jimmy, read my buttons.
They say, have a heart.
Private Heart was my organization that I founded for AIDS research.
Palm Springs. The Pet Project, number one dad.
Pet Project I did in Florida to raise money to save pets.
Number one dad, my dad's the greatest. Animals in Danger, Great Dad, and Have a Heart, which was your charity.
Right, and there were many more buttons on it, but I couldn't wear it because it fell off my shoulder from the weight of the buttons. But isn't that wonderful? What kind of memories to have? And my little kids were so happy to give this to me and said, "Oh, Daddy, you're going to love it." Like they teasing me before I opened the present. They said, "Oh, when you open it, you're going to love it. You're going to want to wear it forever." And you know what? They were right, because I am wearing it, and it's almost forever because this was like the time of Jabot clothing. And the
80s.
Who's the guy? Who's the label in this thing?
Mix. In the Mix.
In the Mix.
I used to have all kinds of stuff.
In the Mix was very big back in the 80s. So, there are things far more important than Dolce & Gabbana or Gucci. There are things like this that really matter. When the love is given to you eternally, it's just heavenly. Anyway, I'm going
to show you your watch real quick.
Oh, my, a 40s. It's yellow and black because I'm wearing yellow and black, and it's waterproof, and I intend to jump in the pool right after the show, so I will be wearing this watch.
They say our hairdos are sexy.
Our hairdos. Yeah, I cut all my hair off for the movie I just did because my producer said, "Ron, could you look like a grandfather and not like a young guy?" Which I thought was a nice way to schmooze me into the film, but he meant it. He didn't want me to go there wearing my, I guess, young clothes or looking too young. Meanwhile, the gal that played my wife came in like a tomato. I mean, she had blonde hair with false eyelashes, heavy eye makeup, a mini dress, glittering high heels. So, I mean, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. But anyway, I cut my hair. It's summertime. It's too hot. And I go to the pool every day. I swim. So I don't want to have hair all over.
There you go. So what's up, chat room? Don Hinton is in the chat room. Teresa Sabin from Florida. Don Hinton's from Bakersfield. B. Claudia's in the chat room from Germany. And the chat room is filling up. We got a fun show, you guys. Today we have Patti Negri coming on. We actually met her years ago at an InfoList red carpet event, and then we re-met her again when we were at the Rhonda Swan party that we've gotten so many great guests from.
And I love her. She's
a lot of fun.
She is one outrageous lady. Let me tell you, she is so fabulous. She's just wild looking. Excuse me. I'm going through desert dust. They call it Las Vegas dust, but here it's Palm Springs dust. The sand gets to be very fine. It's almost like invisible, and it gets in your nose, and then it goes to your throat, and it goes in your sinuses, and it causes an infection. It's just desert sand. Anyway, getting back
our
to
second guest is
we're getting back to the witch. I haven't finished. I cannot wait because in her book, which is a wonderful book of which we will talk about, she tells you how to lose weight magically. That's for me. There's a fly here. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill myself.
The flies
I hate flies. How flies get in the house, I'll never know. I hate flies. It's on your mic now. It's going to go in your mouth.
No, it's not going in my mouth.
It's going to go in your mouth. It's going to go right in your.
I'm very picky.
It's going to go right in your mouth.
So anyway,
if it smells your breath, it'll think something died in your mouth. It'll go right in your mouth.
It's on your hand. Anyway, you guys, we also have actor, producer, and director Adrian Zmed coming on. You guys remember him? He was the star of Grease 2, and he was also one of the stars of that TV hit show TJ Hooker, and he's been in like everything possible. He's freaking awesome, and he's also a big Broadway actor. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think we're going to enjoy it. And then, what did we do this weekend? Did we do anything interesting to tell people about?
Yeah, we went.
We went to see Sue Wong.
Jimmy had a business deal in Santa Barbara, a big luncheon with some very VIP people. So we drove up to Santa Barbara, and I called Susie Wong, my buddy, and I said, "We're coming for coffee." And I went to Starbucks, and I got croissants, and we went to her Malibu house, and we had coffee. We visited with Susie, which was fun, and then we continued on to Santa Barbara, which is a disgrace, because Santa Barbara was one of the most beautiful cities in all of California, and now, unfortunately, the homeless have taken over State Street. It's dirty. The class of people has changed. It's no longer the promenade for movie stars and very wealthy people. Sort of everybody hangs out now in Montecito, which is still old school looking. But the world is changing, and I think people should not destroy what we had all those years that we built. Please respect what you have, what you've come into. We welcome everybody in this country, no matter who you are, but respect it when you come in. Please don't make it your country, because your country was a third world country. We are not a third world country, and we don't want our country to look like a third world country. So please assimilate. You know, you're in America, be an American, and be proud. Absolutely. And keep it clean, and no more throwing food on the floor or garbage all over. It's just terrible.
Up dog shit when your dog poops.
It's really terrible what's happening in this country. I'm not blaming the foreigners now. I'm blaming everybody, whoever's doing it. I'm not blaming one specific group of people. It just seems to me that years ago, we were taught curb your dog, or, you know, our parents told us do not throw gum wrappers on the street. We were taught to keep our cities clean. Also because of rat infestation. You know, living in New York City or Brooklyn, there were a lot of rats. And if you left food on the street, the rats would eat it, and it would only encourage rats to come out of their sewers, you know, and we didn't care for that.
That's right. So,
although Sue Wong would have liked that, because when she was a young girl, her grandmother killed and cooked rat because they were so poor. So Sue Wong would have had a buffet.
Actually, like Big Claudia says, you get fined if you don't pick up your garbage there.
Where?
In Germany.
Oh, yeah, New York used to be that way. It said, do not litter. We had litter baskets all over, and if you were caught littering, you got a fine. Now, my poor New York, the new mayor said, I am going to clean up this city. There will be no longer any violence. Not even 60 minutes later, there were 8 shootings and 14 stabbings in New York City. What in the hell is going on?
Absolutely. So anyway, we have a fun show. We want to thank everybody who's been leaving all the reviews for us on iTunes and listening to us on iTunes. I just updated a bunch of shows on YouTube, and we put up the Donna Mills show and the Eric Goka show. Went up
now, Donna Mills. It's a good show, by the way.
Eric Goka show and Stefano's show. I don't know. We just put up a bunch, and I have a bunch more I'm working on. I was just behind, but now we're working on it. So we've
go see the Donna Mills show, and you're going to faint. She's 80. How old is she? 82?
81.
She's 81 years old. God, she looks 35 or 40. Whatever that woman's doing, we must know the secret.
Oh, we also put the Rhonda Swan show up.
And the Rhonda Swan show. We have some really good.
Yes, we had some good shows.
Very different than anybody else's interview. Well, all of our interviews are different than anybody's interview. I guess that's why we're the #1 interview show on what are we on, a web?
A web show. iTunes is Apple Podcasts also, just so you know, Don. And
Right.
We want to thank everybody too for all of that. You can listen to the show. We're on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn, Pandora, SoundCloud, and Amazon Prime. We're on about 140 other platforms, but I just picked out the biggest ones. So please, check us out. You can listen to us. The only place to watch the video is on YouTube, and like I said, I've been updating them so you can see all the shows.
Unless you watch us live.
Yes, unless you watch us live on our home station, W4CY.
You can get us on your cell phone. So if you're out somewhere, just pop into your cell phone and you can pick up our show right now and see it live.
Absolutely.
So, we don't edit anything out, so you're not going to miss out. If you see it on YouTube, it's exactly as it was shown live.
Right.
So I don't want you to think that, oh, well, if you don't see it live, it's not as funny. No, it's the same stuff.
I was trying to put stuff on Instagram, but for some reason, Instagram used to let me put long videos up, and now they don't. I don't know why. So until I figure that out, we're not on Instagram at the moment, unless I cut out little segments, and I don't have time. So we're not doing it that way.
Okay.
All right.
We're on the witch.
She's
I'm
ready.
Excited.
I think
I can't wait.
She said she's here, so let's bring her
on. I cannot wait.
All right, Juan, let's bring in Patti.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
hey,
sweetheart.
How are you?
How's my girl?
I am well. Thank you so much for having me on your fun show.
My
pleasure. We're gonna have fun. So do I pronounce it Negri?
Negri. I like
Perfect.
the into it, but Negri.
That's because he's Italian, and he told me it has to have that on it.
Now here's when you say loro sono negri. They are black. Lui è nero. He is black. So negri is the plural for black in Italian. It means many black.
And I am finding out that I am like mostly Italian, which I never knew, that my ancestry DNA keeps leaning me
coming back Italian.
Well, that's why you're beautiful. That's why you're beautiful, and you have the personality you have.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, that's
because I'm Italian. Meanwhile, I cannot wait to get into your
so
book.
Hold on, wait.
I cannot wait.
We gotta do one. Well, that's more stuff before that. All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the incredibly awesome psychic medium, the Good Witch of Hollywood, Patti Negri. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Now that's an intro. Yay.
So now we have, hang on. So now I know you already know Ron, but we'll have to introduce him every way. So this is our cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
We know each other for a long time.
And then we have a chat room that's starting to fill up. So say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hi, chat room.
They say you're gorgeous and you have a beautiful smile.
She does.
And
she's magical.
So you guys, we met Patti many years ago. We were pre-COVID. We were going to those info list red carpet parties at the Wisdom, and we all got there a few minutes early. So we were all hanging out and met her. And then we hadn't seen her until we were at Rhonda Swan's party 3 weeks ago. And she was there, and I was looking at her going, God, I know her. And we figured out where it was. And so now she's our fourth guest from the Rhonda Swan party because of cool people that we met there or re-met there. And so we want to welcome you to the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Ron's dying to talk, so I have to let him talk.
No, only because I cannot wait to get some string and tie 9 knots, because she's got in her book How to Lose Weight with Magic. And I believe in magic. My daughter Deirdre, by the way, is a good white witch also from Pennsylvania. My daughter is a Wiccan. Wiccan, is it called?
No. Wiccan, but I like Wiccan. We're often wigging a little. Wiccan.
Well,
Wiccan.
she's a Wiccan. So she said to say hi, sister.
Yay.
Anyway, the book is it's going to be an incredible book to read. I think everybody should get it.
I think before we talk about the book, we should brag for her a little bit.
Well, you can brag after the book.
Let's brag before the book.
No, brag afterwards. This way we sell the book, then we brag about it. I want everybody to buy this book because, magic does happen. What is magic? Magic is positive thinking. Magic is getting you to believe in what magic is, to become and do what magic does.
All right, so you guys...
No, shut your mouth.
I'm going to
interruption, rudeness. Didn't your parents raise you correctly?
Because you're not going in the good order.
No, I'm going... listen, I've been doing this for 64 years, Junior. Don't tell me what to do.
We fight all the time. People love it.
Now you made me lose my train of thought.
Good. good. So I'm going to tell everybody.
Deliberately.
Okay, so you guys, this is Patti's book, which, by the way, you can get by going to pattinegri.com, P-A-T-T-I, not Y, P-A-T-T-I-N-E-G-R-I.com. The name of her book is Old World Magic for the Modern World. Tips, tricks, and techniques to balance, empower, and create a life you love, by Patti Negri.
There's all sorts of positivity in this book. Everything in this book can be done. You can do it. You have to believe in it. What is magic? Magic is a sense of mind. Magic is love. When you fall in love, that's magic. When you have an orgasm, that's magic. When you eat a delicious pasta, that's magic. So tell me about it. I talk too much. You have to take over. About the fat thing. I really got to lose.
First, talk about the book and then the fat thing.
I have to lose 15 pounds. My doctor told me to lose 15 pounds.
Easy Pete. I am a professional dieter, so I put all my magic together to create that we could do it. I do. I believe in magic. I think we can create our life. What I see, what I teach on is that we give away our power all the time. We give away our power to other people. We give away our power to limiting belief systems, to fear, to all this stuff. Grab it back. We are amazing beings. We are divine creatures, wherever you think we come from. And we have free will. So we get to choose and create what we want. So if you don't have power in any area of your life, just grab it back. So and that's what my book is about. It's almost simple life hacks to make it easy. Like, we're all off balance right now. So I have my 30-second exercises, which I've honestly seen lots of people get off like depression meds over going, oh, wait, that's my emotions. I'm going to run my hands underwater for 30 seconds. Oh, wait, that's my head. I'm stuck in my chatty head, foggy head. Oh, you're probably not breathing. So I'm going to breathe. It's just simple, easy. You don't have to be a psychic. You don't have to be a medium. You don't have to be a witch. You just create your life. Nobody but you is going to do it. And with the dieting thing, and again, it's much beyond diet, because the magic works for me. I'm supposed to be long dead. But because of these weird health problems that they discovered when I was like puberty age, they put me on hormones and all this stuff that made me blow up like a balloon. And I've always been like a little accordion. So by the ripe old age of
accordion, that's funny.
I'm a professional. So yeah. And so by the ripe old age of 30, they said I had so many health issues that I wouldn't make it to 50. This cancer, that cancer, this brain tumor, the fractures in my back. And I kind of went, no. And does she have autoimmune disease? I don't know if anybody who has an autoimmune disease, that's imbalance. You can get rid of it. I 100% believe that. The weight issue came on top of that. And I went, no, I'm not going to be dead. I'm not going to be in a wheelchair because this osteoporosis. So I just took positive thinking, magic. I believe, that thing's jumping. Everything, that mind, body, spirit of psychology. 20,000 books are written, mind, body, spirit, right? We know we will never, ever surpass our own belief system. Fact, we won't. If you don't think you can do it, you can. If you think you can conquer this, you can. We know that. That's what you were just saying. Mind will never, body, we have to get off the couch. We have to take action. But the spirit part, that's what people don't quite get. But that's the battery that makes it happen. You could do it traditionally ways. You could do it through your faith. Go to church, go to temple, prayer. You could do it in New Age, vision boards, affirmations. You could do what I would do, spell working, crafts, witch's ladder, knots, magic, carving candles, herbs, dancing around a bonfire. But anybody could look at everything you've ever accomplished in your life. You've had that mind, body, you've believed you could do it, or you were worthy of it, or both. You've taken action, you've got off the couch, and you've had that faith or spirit or battery that made it happen. The stuff you haven't quite made happen yet, just one or two of those things need tweaking. That's it. You don't really believe it, or that you're capable, or you can, or you haven't gotten off the couch, or you haven't had that battery that makes it happen. That's where I put the battery that makes it happen. That's why I put things like light the candle for weight loss whenever you're eating, because so many people eat unconsciously. You don't have that awareness. Plus, the magic in the candle is the spirit. You've blessed that with nothing's going to turn into fat. You put the witch's ladder, our breath, you're blowing into little knots. You see all those people wearing strings around their wrists, the red string, the Kabbalah tree, those are magic. Spirit gets caught in string. That's why spider webs are so magical. That's why you hang dream catchers over your bed to catch your bad dreams and things. And so you're making a little witch's ladder and you're putting your breath into it, because remember, our breath is our life force. It's our pneuma. We're nothing without our breath. And even
okay,
and that's how I sort of know what. Okay. I'm just gonna ramble on. I'm gonna shut up.
No, we're gonna ramble.
No. He's very rude to it. Oops. He's very rude.
No, I want to like.
I know, when we go off you had a black eye a couple of weeks ago. He's going to have another black eye after we get off the show today. But this time,
I want to help.
This time, I'm going to give him the black eye.
I want to help promote all of these things.
Don't promote shit. She's wonderful.
I know she's wonderful. So first of all, you guys, so you know more about it, because a lot of people don't know who she is, and so like I want.
They're stupid if they don't know who she is. She's
they can't help
what
that.
she is.
So you guys, Patti, here I'm going to read a little bit off the back of the book. By the way, this book is only $12.97. You guys, everybody can afford it. It's like two Starbucks.
I love this book. It is the best reading I've had in months, and I read it in 2 minutes by the pool and got sunburned too. I'm sorry.
So you guys, Patti Negri. Patti's a world-renowned, award-winning psychic medium and good witch, able to communicate with the spirit world since she was a toddler. She's been practicing natural magic her entire life. Her specialty is in adjusting energy and flow in people, spaces, and situations. She's conducted seances, clearings, and sessions on radio, film, TV, and in living rooms and boardrooms across America. And then she has all these different things. Some of the things that you'll discover when you get this book that's only $12.97. Easy techniques to shift your energy, your perception, and your outcomes to create the life you want. A new outlook and fun, manageable, and magical way to live your life, so to create a sense of empowerment and hope. A different and expanded way to look at your life without changing your religion or belief system. And fun, powerful, and often life-changing spells, potions, and rituals you can easily do at home with common items without having to be a witch, psychic, or medium. So you don't have to be a witch to get this stuff, you guys, and that's a very big point.
It's not like hocus pocus, full of baloney, like, smoke and mirrors. It's a book that reads well. It reads easily, and it's a common sense book. I mean, it's a book that when you finish reading it, you say, I knew all of that stuff. I just didn't remember. Because you have to be reminded that you have this power. People say to me, how come you look so good for 82? How come you bounce around like a 16-year-old? And I say, because I want to. 100%. If I didn't want to, I wouldn't. So if you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm old, I'm ugly, I'm broken, I'm in pain, I'm swelling, I have diabetes, I have diarrhea, I have cancer, I have whatever the hell you have, you're killing yourself. You're letting all of the evil forces come into your body. They love it. No, read this book, because this book tells you how to overcome so many easy step things. I mean, believe in it. As she said, some people believe in a plaster of Paris statue of a man nailed to a cross. That's Jesus Christ. And they hold that plaster of Paris statue and they pray to it. Well, the statue doesn't give them the power. They get the power themselves believing in the statue. And that's what this gal does. Her book teaches you how to have the power that you can be magic also. There it goes. Keep talking. I love what she says. Go on. Don't let shit face here interrupt you anymore.
You guys are funny. So anyway, it's taking that power. You don't have to be and to do whatever you want to do. My book is little like hacks, like the weight thing. That's easy. We need the visual, we need the emotional, we need the mental, because everything connects. The chords is through emotional. There's two strong powers in the world: love and fear. Love and fear. The choices we make from love are usually the good choices. The choices we make from fear are usually not our best choices. And fear can freeze us in our tracks, make us not do what we want to do with our lives, make that phone call, ask for a raise. Or if we look at fear's $1 million industry that I work in, we pay money to watch scary movies or to ride roller coasters. So why not take that, I'm so scared and I'm going to do those things in our regular life. Like, I'm so scared, but I'm going to take care of my body. Change your perception. Perception is everything. And perception is what drives us. So that's what this is about. You could do it in psychological terms, like my grandfather, very academic. You could do it in woo-woo new age terms. You could do it in pagan-y terms. You could do it in Judeo-Christian terms. It's just the energy behind it.
Woo-woo new age terms. I love that.
I usually read books not novels, but when the book is written as yours is, I usually say, oh, well, this is full of shit. That's baloney. This is crap. This they made up, or this is stupid, or, oh, give me a break. Your book, I have none of those sentences used. I really enjoyed it. Each chapter was exciting. It was fun. I would love to make a movie about it. Just put characters around it. Seriously, make a script.
Let's go.
Write a script around it. I think we should think about it. Writing a script about a family of people who are just broken down garbage, and then they found this wonderful book, and they studied the book, and suddenly they began to be happy, healthy, and beautiful. Because I so believe in everything. You know, maybe my daughter Deirdre became a witch because I was a warlock many years ago in my 20s. It was the thing back then. The only thing I had to say was the Lord's Prayer backwards 3 times, and that made me no longer a Christian, and I became a warlock. So that was the only stupid thing that we had to do. But I had my chalice and I had all my instruments, and putting him in a silk scarf out at midnight and sleeping under the pillow, all that stuff. And you know something? We did it then because it was in. It was very in to be magical in the hippie days. But I firmly believe that it gave me the strength to be who I am today. Because as I tell Jimmy, or excuse me, it's my desert sand throat. I always tell Jimmy now, when Jimmy is a little doubtful of things, I get angry. And I say, don't do that. Do not bring that into our home. It doesn't work here. It doesn't belong here. You are who you are. There's nobody like you. You're the best in the world because there's no double. If you can find my double, then compare me to him. But I'm an individual. Nobody's like me. I'm the best. So are you, and so is everybody watching our show right now. You are an individual. You are the master of your thoughts, the master of your life. Don't blame things on other people. Don't pass the buck and say, well, this one made me get fat, or, you know, I got married and I was unhappy, so I ate and got fat. No. You got fat because you wanted to get fat.
No, and the thing is, whatever reason you got fat for,
nobody gets fat because they want to be fat. Go ahead.
But no, I was just going to say, you don't be a victim, because if you say it's so-and-so's fault, I got married, I got this, I was sad, then you're a victim and you don't take responsibility for it. I got fat because I ate too much. You know, there might be reasons behind it, but as soon as you take responsibility, then you're not a victim. Then you can change it. That's
if you are at a
bit,
if you are in a
fault, it's their fault. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're in a lousy marriage and your husband's no good, don't get fat. Get a push-up bra, put on a mini skirt, paint your face, and go out and get another husband.
Yeah,
that's positive. Don't stick with the jerk off. Go get a new one, a nice one, but don't wreck yourself. Victim, that's a wonderful word. Don't be a victim.
So hold on, I want to do some bragging then, though. Let me do some more bragging for you. So you guys, Patti's done some fabulous things. Again, her website's pattinegri.com, and Patti is with an I. Some of her TV appearances have been on Ghost Adventures, which is a highly popular show, Flipping Out, Pit Boss, Private Chefs of Beverly Hills, Bad Girls Club, Beverly Hills Pond, Deadly Possessions, Master Chef, Wipeout, AGT. She's also worked with some really cool people, some of which we know, but she's worked with Emma Stone, John Voight, Josh Duhamel, Chevy Chase, Gregory Hines, Martin Sheen, John C. Reilly, Burt Reynolds, Ernie Hudson, Sylvester Stallone, and she's also the president and chief examiner of the American Federation of Certified Psychics and Mediums, as well as being an educator. And this is something that was in the book when she gave it to me, or I put it there, I'm not sure, but she's also an educator at University Magicus. It's an online spirituality school. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but I wanted to just brag a little bit more for her. And also it says that, that you had these abilities at a very young age. How did you know, that you had these abilities?
Because I thought everybody, I was talking to the other side, to spirit, since I was a little kid. And I do think little kids can. I think the so-called imaginary friends that little kids have aren't all imaginary. We have this gift, but in our modern Western, non-mystical society. We've taken the magic out. We've taken even the spirituality out of so much religion. Oh, that's your imaginary friend. No, it's not. And it didn't get taught out of me, because mom would go, yeah, grandma saw that too. Grandma did that too. And even on the witchy side, I would find myself in my, again, little bitty in my little suburban Long Beach home, you know, picking rosemary and herbs and mint and stuffing it in my mom's wallet, knowing it would give her more money. I mean, she didn't quite get it at the time. It's like, what are you doing? No, it's money. It's not money. No, it's, and then years later, I study apothecary and herbs and all. Yeah, it is. These are the attributes it has. So it's just kind of in the blood. But I think we all have it. I literally did my first seance. I was 7 or 8. And again, I went into the hall where there's no windows, stuffed towels under the doors, realized I didn't know anybody dead. And I'm like, Marilyn Monroe, John Kennedy, everybody I knew at 7 or 8, and my little lightless, windowless hall filled with orbs and lights. And, you know, I ran screaming out of the house with my best friend, Sherry Jones. But inside I was jumping up and down going, this is real. And we can control it to an extent. This is our world. So I've always known. So I've spent my entire life studying religion, philosophy, science, occult science, regular science, philosophy, cosmologies, to make of the energy that I see, and then whatever, again, template you want to put it in. There's basic truths to things.
Well, you know, you like Jane Russell.
Spirits are out there.
My buddy Jane Russell, the movie star, was very religious, you know, Christian. And she always used to say to me, well, you can't prove it, can you? And that was her exact sentence. Pertaining to, does Christ exist? Do aliens exist? Does magic exist? Anything that people don't understand, they condemn. They immediately say, oh, that's baloney. That's makeup. Somebody wrote it. Somebody's making money on it. And Jane used to get upset with that. And she would simply say to them, well, you can't prove it, can you? And nobody can. Nobody can prove it to be false or real. We have to know one day when we're dead. When you're dead, you find out the answers. Jane said to me, when she was dying, poor thing, on her last trip to my house, she said, what is the Lord going to do with me when I get there? I said, knowing you, Jane, you'll be sitting in his lap torturing him. So she started to laugh. Well, I hope Jane is up there sitting on his lap, if there is.
I am sure she is. We'll have to do a seance sometime and bring her down and talk to her. They love that.
I would love, and she would come because she believed in that.
Big in life, big in death. Believe me, I've been talking to spirits since I was a kid. Somebody who's the quiet banker who works in this cubicle is quiet ghost. A movie star is going to be a movie star. That's why I like hanging out like at the Roosevelt or the Hollywood Athletic Club or the American Legion, where ghosts are having fun time. Marilyn's always by the pool in the chiffon, whatever. It's goofy. And by the way,
the Roosevelt Hotel a lot. We go to the Roosevelt Hotel a lot.
I just want to tell a quick story. Jane Russell did not believe in homosexuality. She thought that we were raped as children and that we were abused or whatever and became. She thought that it could be undone, that it was a frame of mind. So she had a friend who supposedly spoke to Jesus Christ or heard from Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ told her all this stuff that she wrote down. And she gave that to Jane, and Jane gave it to me. And it was, Ron will be very difficult in the beginning, but in time, he will come around to understanding that I am the Lord, you know, blah, 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 blah. Of course, I didn't believe a word of it because it just didn't work. It didn't happen. And I said that to Jane, and Jane said, well, like the letter said, you're fighting it. I said, Jane, what's the fight? You know, let's be realistic here. There is a limit to what we can believe in. She said, no, you're wrong, Ron. She said, there is no limit in what you believe in. If you close your mind to things, she said, you're never going to advance, especially in the next life. What do you think the next life is all about?
The closest thing that I do, again, I've been talking to the other side and I can see through the veil. The closest thing I get is the ancient Sumerian believing. Oh, and by the way, I know Christian witches now. We don't have to say anybody's prayer backwards anymore. In my school, that University Magicus, I have a Catholic priest, witches, vampires, New Agers, Reiki, hypnotism, all together. And we don't say this is the truth, this is a truth, and you figure out your own mix. But anyway, so what I think the closest that I've experienced, it's as closest to the ancient Sumerian belief system. which that's all those Anunnaki people, is that almost that we create our own heaven, almost like the Matrix. Like if you believe in the pearly gates of whatever that's what you're kind of going to get. I do believe in reincarnation. I know exactly who I was in my last life. I've been in the house, knew every inch of it. I've kind of went through time and space in a couple trippy different ways. So again, and I think we sort of have choices there. If nothing dies, we know that science has proven that nothing can die. We become energy. We don't keep the meat suit. We get that. Spirit lives, soul lives. This goes. So if you want to, and again, in my experience, they don't have time and space. They go up and they hang out, and if they're hanging out with Jesus, they're hanging out with Jesus. If they want to go through all their lives from Cleopatra, whatever they're doing, they want to sit there and watch their grandkids grow up through the window. That's what they do. So that ancient Sumerian is just, you got to go to the heaven that you create and you believe in, which is really almost like the Matrix. And I think that's what we do with this life too.
Well, that brings me to somebody once said to me, well, think of all the zillions and trillions and zillions of people who have lived on this planet Earth. When they die, how could Jesus possibly handle all of them? You know, and I said to them, listen, exactly what you said. We live in a time frame. The time frame from birth to death is what we have in the next life. Everyone we've met in that time frame, we see again in the next life. We can then rewrite or compose that lifestyle as we want, because that's what heaven would be. We had a very famous psychic here. I don't think she was really any good. We were in Liberace's house. No, we were in Liberace's house and filming it, a seance. And in the seance, she spoke with Liberace. And what Liberace said to her was, please tell them to take the colored lights out of the water fountain in the front of the house. I wanted to get up and leave and say, look, it's stupid. You could have made up a better thing than that. I doubt that Liberace cares about the colored lights in the fountain if he got through. I think he would have gotten through with far more important information. But anyway, there are a lot of phonies out there. There are a lot of people out there who are out to get your money. You know, these gypsies that you see in the street, these little places, they're psychic. They're full of shit. They know how to talk. They get it out of you. Oh, I see you need a lover. You need a man that's going to have a red hair. You know what I mean? They do all that nonsense. Yeah. So that makes a lot of people think, oh, well, she's a phony too. This one that wrote a book, come on, she's a witch. Yeah, she knows her ass from her elbow like everybody else. But no, folks, there are people who honestly and truly have this sense. I knew who I was once. My name was Eben Larkin. I was a pilgrim. And I lived on Long Island out in the Hamptons. How do I know this? I was driving out to the Hamptons when I was about 18 with friends. And I said to them, you know, there's a wonderful little cottage down the road on the right by the water. And I had never been there. And we drove by, and it was no longer with a thatched roof, but it was a historical house from 16-something. And I was a farmer there. And my name was Eben Larkin, and I looked very much like I look now. As a child, my mother used to say to me, we have to go for shoes for school. And I said, Mama, I want shoes with buckles on them. And I always wore shoes with buckles. And today I have shoes still with buckles because it's a throwback to when I was a pilgrim and I wore boots with buckles. So I believe in reincarnation. I believe that, listen, people say to me, well, what happens when you die? I said, look, you watch a television show, don't you? It comes through the air, doesn't it? Well, that's what we are. We're energy, and we go through whatever and materialize in whatever. I don't really know. And we are. So I believe everything you're saying.
Yeah. And again, you're right about psychics. Sadly, this is the worst profession for everyone, real and legit. There's 1,000 scam artists, or what you call the gypsies. The way to tell, always research, even if it's a Yelp or Google, go there, get a referral. And number two is if they're trying to be fear-based or control-based or upsell you, run. You should leave a session with a psychic or a medium, whichever you going empowered. not you're going to get hit by a bus on Tuesday. Be careful so you don't get hit by a bus on Tuesday. Not you're going to be married 17 times. You might be married 17 times, but here's not how to be married. If they try to upsell you, if they tell you have a curse, run.
Upsell you.
They upsell you. Oh yeah. Curse. Oh, you need your chakras balanced. Oh, I need to take this to the church and get the candle. Just no upsell, no curse, no. That's why they started the American Federation of Certified Psychics, because Maximilien de Lafayette, who's an author, he's a linguist, he's a lawyer, 21 languages, most of them ancient, like ancient Sumerian. That's why I know this ancient Sumerian language. I mean, I don't know it, but he did an article in one of his magazines, and he said, oh my God, if anybody needs a professional organization, you guys do. I mean, plumbers have them, doctors have them, teachers have them, somebody that shows that you've tested, that you say you're a psychic, if you say you're an astrologer, you know astrology. If you say you're a hypnotist, everything that we do, heavy testing and background checks, that you've never gotten in trouble for scamming anybody, or, so yeah, it's just be careful out there, because you always go to a psychic or a medium when you're vulnerable, and people take advantage of that, sadly. So just run. Anything,
whatever they say, they work it very cleverly. You have someone who's your enemy, and immediately you say, yes, my mother-in-law. And then you tell the psychic this, yes, my mother-in-law. Now she knows, she has a clue. Well, your mother now, oh, I see your mother-in-law. She hates you. She's doing spells on you. See that? I mean, it's just progressive bullshit.
Yeah. And they're good. I mean, you could look at somebody who does magicians who do whatever they call it. They don't call it mediumship. They call it whatever they call it, clairvoyant, whatever they call it. They admit that it's fake, and they could read you like that. I don't know how they do it, because I'm not fake, but yeah, there's techniques of reading people and knowing people, and it's whatever. But that don't keep you away from the legit ones. Just do your homework. Referrals if you can, and go to Yelp.
They get some really good ones, like on AGT though. They have some really good, like, of those clairvoyant, like, people.
It's all trickery. They show them on YouTube. They have where they expose all the trickery.
Not the late ones.
The magicians, the guys that fly in the air.
I'm not talking about the magicians. I'm not the ones that tell you what you're thinking, and they know what you're fucking thinking, and they
really don't
they're
know.
Good.
They're very good.
Mentalists. They're called
mentalists. That's it. Yes, mentalists. Yes.
It's also,
and they could tell you. You just go, how could you know that? I turned into an 8-year-old. I love that kind of magic too.
So wait, what did you do on AGT?
Wait, one final word.
You weren't a contestant, were you?
This book is
yes, I was.
Hang on. This book will not scare you. This book will not bring evil spirits into your home. This book will only give you a lot of fun, a lot of entertainment, and possibly help you in so many ways.
So did they only get it on your website, or is it also like on Amazon in places, or where did they go to get it?
Yeah, on Amazon. There's a few bookstores, but Amazon, you could get it in print, that same $12.97, or you can get an ebook or audiobook on Amazon for $6. $6.
Yeah, because B. Claudia in Germany said she already got it. She's in Germany, but she said she got it to read tonight.
$6? I mean, that's a joke. $6. So Starbucks, a coffee at Starbucks.
I know, and the ones in this city are all closing. But yes, I was on AGT. This whole thing is, I had health issues, and they were told me by 50 I would be dead, and I went, no, I'm not. So when I hit 50, instead of being dead, I'm like, how do I show how positive magic, positive thinking, whatever you want to call it, the craft works? I'm going to do the world's hardest obstacle course. I'm going to get on Wipeout with those big balls, scariest, hard, and yes. I kept trying out. And I had to go through physical and psychological. And next thing I knew, I beat 100,000 people and be the least likely. And I was doing Wipeout, the hardest, scariest, most painful thing I ever did, but most empowering. And I go, this is what positive magic. I wasn't there going, I hope that person trips. No, it's like, you do good. And what you put out is what you get back. There's room. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is addicting. This is fun. What else can I do? I sit and I live in the middle of Hollywood, and I'm like, okay, well, my husband won't let me in the kitchen, and I got kicked out of home ec in high school. I'm going to cook for Gordon Ramsay. I want to show what positive magic does. So I totally played the witch card. I have new pumpkin soup, and I made Aristotle, son of Apollo, love pasta. And I used real techniques of magical cooking, stir it clockwise, add love. get rid of stuff, go counterclockwise. What cinnamon will add to your food? Basil will stop arguing. But again, I still couldn't cook. But next thing I know, I beat 100,000 more people with positive witchcraft, and I'm cooking for Gordon Ramsay, Joe Bastianich, and Graham. And then I'm like, this is addicting. This is fun. This is, everybody needs a hobby, right? So I'm watching America's Got Talent, and I'm seeing these amazing singers and dancers. I do too. I'm just seeing these people going, wow, okay. Again, and next thing I know, I'm rolling on the floor with Howie Mandel, beat another 100. I'm at the audition at the LA Convention Center with 5,000 of my closest friends, and knowing they're also at every convention center in the US going, I'm going to do this. And I did that. I'm making a fool of myself, which is my favorite thing, with, rolling on the floor with Howie Mandel, psychically reading his dog, which we're all wrapped up in the leash, and trying to pick him up. And you can't touch Howie Mandel because he's got that germ thing.
Yeah, he's got that germ thing. Yes.
It was hysterical, but we
good for you though.
Wait, I would like to talk about the book. Here's just a few of the subjects: basic spell casting, moon magic, love magic, home and space clearing magic, dream magic, bathroom magic, my favorite projection items, tools and techniques, kitchen magic, body and weight loss magic, money magic. Don't we all need some of that? Dragon magic and sound magic. It's such an interesting. Yeah, I know. I'm just reading a few because we could go on for another week. Outdoor magic. When a loved one passes, magic. We all have that. Keeping calm in a storm.
Spectrophilia, ghost sex magic.
Yeah. It's a wonderful. I'm telling you right now, for $6, it's a joke. $12 is even a stupider joke. I mean, I've read so much trash in my day. No, I've read trash in my day. I mean, I'm a science freak. I believe in a UFO. I've read everything on it. I mean, I know I'm not stupid to the subject, but I truly enjoyed this book. It's so easy. It's so simple. And I really liked it. I would read it again. I'm going to give it to my daughter, Deirdre, the witch, when I see her on Monday.
So also, real quick, so B. Claudia got your book. So B. Claudia is in Germany. She's a phenomenal supporter of the show and everything Ron and I do. So just say hi to B. Claudia because she loves that one.
Hi, B. Claudia. Hi, B. Claudia. Thank you. Let me know what you think.
And also say hi to Teresa because Teresa's she's like saying,
hi,
she
Teresa.
keeps saying how beautiful you and your smile is. And Dawn is in there too, and she says she always loses. Her money disappears all the time. Laugh out loud. Say hi to Dawn.
Think like a leprechaun. I don't know if that's in the book. Leprechauns like money because money's easy. It's the pot of gold, I think. So create a little leprechaun envelope. Throw around money. Roll around in it like you're goofy. Change your thoughts of money. I have on my website, in my book, I teach a lot for free on YouTube. My money spell works every time. It costs you $1 and a federal offense because you have to burn the dollar, but it works every time.
Oh, I have a great story I must tell, but I cannot use the actor's name. He is an Academy Award-winning, very famous actor. My daughter Deirdre was dating him, and she was very much infatuated with him and wanted to cast a spell on him, a love spell. So they were out one night on a patio after having dinner, and she said to him, I'm very chilly. He said, here, take my jacket. So she puts his jacket on, and then she goes to the ladies' room. With her pinky nail, she made a tiny little hole in the sleeve where the seam is, and she poured down their magic powder for love potion. And then she went back to the table and said, I feel better now. Here's your jacket. And he put the jacket on. Did it turn out? Well, it did to some extent because she saw him for 2 years, but unfortunately he had a bad drug problem and she had to end the relationship because there was no controlling. And he's a major Academy Award-winning actor. So my daughter, read her book. If you're in love with somebody and you want to get them, read the book, But
I would tell you, just ask for, I personally, and that there's no judgments there, I personally wouldn't do it on a specific person. I'd say, bring me the love of my life. They could have these attributes. And if it's that person, it'll work on that person. Because I just choose personally not to control people because that's just not good or bad, evil or bad. But if I create a world that I can control people, that means people can control me because create the world we live in. That's why I don't hex or curse. That's why when I'm on Master Chef, I wasn't hoping that person burnt their chicken. It's like, no, I hope that's the best chicken you've ever made. What you put out, you get back. So again,
I so believe in that. People say to me, you have 2 daughters that love and adore you. We play cards every Monday night. And my kids, I mean, you see the thing I'm wearing now with all the buttons from 40 years ago, best dad in the world. I'm so close to my children and they are to me. People say, what did you do? I said, I got back what I gave. And that was love. If you are dedicated to your children and those children feel completely 100% loved by you, you're going to get it back. So, excuse me. Damn sand here. Yep. I hate this desert, friggin' desert. I'm so sorry I live here. But anyway, no, really, I mean, it's torture, 115 degrees and anyway, that's negative. Discharge it. So I had a mind blow
Okay,
out.
so I want, because what you said before, like it was a few minutes ago, but basically you said, you know, you get what you give, get back what you give. So like if you go around like wishing bad on people, probably that's what you're going to get. And if you go out, you know, wishing good on people, you'll also get good, right? Is that basically kind of like the basic instruction?
It's called karma in Eastern religion. It's called cause and effect. It's called action and reaction in science. Exactly. And because again, I'm not judgmental of people who do wish dark or do dark magic, but those people just don't seem as happy as I am. Those people start getting a little paranoid, a little worried. And then you have the witch wars. Who's against who? It's like that's not the world I choose to live in. And you don't have to. If you can get everything, if you cannot know what saute means and cook for Gordon Ramsay, you could do anything with positive magic.
In Italian, you're Italian now. You remember that. You have to learn this.
I know.
In Italian, there's a saying, che sputo in cielo ritornare in faccia. He who spits in the wind gets it back in his face. And that is so true. If you spit into the wind, it'll come back and hit you in the face. And that's what it's all about. You do evil, baby, double. That's the sad part. It comes back double, not even singular, double.
The Wiccan read, like what you're. I mean, I'm Wiccan, but I'm so much more because I do a lot of chaos magic. I do a lot of traditional British craft. I'll use some Phony mixed up, some ceremonial. So I'm just eclectic. I'm very elemental in my work. I work with air and fire and water and earth. But the Wiccan thing is what you put out, you get back 3 times. By the power of 3 times 3, this spell bound round shall be.
Yeah,
usually it would say to cause no harm. No, it's the 3. So put out love because that's what you're going to get. Put out abundance, not like I'm holding on to my money like this because then you're going to be like this, like nothing.
All that is
give away all your money. It's just
so
science.
air, water, fire, and whatever, like the other, because you know The Craft is like one of my favorite movies, and that's the only time I had ever really seen that. Now I've seen both the Craft movies. I love them both. So that's like actually a real thing then that they based all of that on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. We work at almost anybody who works a magical or shamanic, Native Americans, Peruvians, pagans, witches. You work at compass. Whatever you put in the north is the system you work. And elemental cause, but north is earth, south is fire, west is water, east is air. So north would be earth. It's who you are. If you want to put it onto your body, that's what I do in my 30-second. Who you are, your persona, your home, how people know you. Oh, that's Ron. That's you. Oh, they're funny. That's your earth. Your fire is your passion, your creativity, what drives you, the power. It could be Holy Spirit, Jesus. It could be the breath of a dragon. So who you are and what drives you, north and south. Where we get off balance is west and east, like an airplane going sideways. West is our water. It's our emotions. Almost 60% of our body is water. Almost 70% of our planet. Water has to flow, not judge my emotions, stuffed down, not looked at. Flow, water like a tear. Air is our thought pattern, our focus, our clarity, the chatty brain, because none of us breathe well anymore, the foggy brain, the hormone. So if we put our whole life into who we are, what drives us, our emotions and our thoughts, what do we need more than anything to survive? Water and air, and to balance it out. So that's why I came up with like those 30-second exercises, because it is great to meditate for an hour. I don't have an hour. I have 30 seconds before I go on camera with these beautiful men. I have 30 seconds to pull it together. So I put that mind, body, spirit, belief system, action, magic into play. In witchcraft, we call it creation, working, dispatch. Same thing, just different words. Into like, well, water calms us. Look at every shower you've ever taken. Water releases things. Can't jump in a shower, but you could run your hands underwater. Breathing calms the head. So the 30-second version is add some vowel to it. Getting grounded, hugging a tree if you can hug a tree. But if you can't hug a tree, grab a pencil. This still has the spirit of that tree. A fire, the passion, the creativity. Maybe you have a hot date or a spiritual or creative path, or maybe you're just tired and you can't dance around a bonfire, which I highly recommend. The heka, or the sound magic for fire, is the letter Z. Zzz. It's the dragon strike. So 30 seconds of zzz. You'll have the passion, creativity. You'll feel it in the base of your spine coming up. We have everything built right into us. We just forgot as we modernized ourselves. We used to, when I talk about moon magic, that 60% water, we are run by the moon. Everybody knows the crazy full moon. Yeah, we all know. Talk to a police station, talk to a hospital. But what if every full moon we get out and we're in gratitude? Whoever we're thanking, God, God's the moon, our higher self. Thank you, and ask for what we want. Everybody says you're supposed to ask, whether you call it prayer or manifestation or affirmation. So thank you for my 1-bedroom apartment. I want a 2-bedroom apartment. The next 2 weeks, while the moon is waning or getting smaller, that's when you wake up going, the moon's waning. I'm not going to eat carbs today, or I'm not going to worry so much, or I'm not going to be so hard on myself. It'll be 10 times easier during that 2 weeks of the waning moon. During the dark moon, the new moon, that's when you go inside. What do I want now? Whether you meditate for an hour, just go 30 seconds. What do I want now? Not what did I want last month? Not what does the world want for me? And then the next 2 weeks of waxing moon, it's written on your cell phone. It's written on every calendar you buy. That's when you add into your life more love, more sex, more exercise. All of a sudden, if we tap into that almost 60% water, you will notice within weeks, if not days, the good stuff in your life gets better faster and faster. And not good or bad, but the stuff you no longer need starts falling away with the grace and ease of the moon. The moon is flow. The moon is magic. We are run by it. Again, early men knew.
And I also believe in flow. Let's talk about flow. A lot of people have been raised to be prejudiced, or have been raised to say no to this, no to that. Too many no's. When you're a child, your parents are constantly saying no, 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 no. That stops the flow coming in. People say to me, Ron, how do you do what you do for 14 years or whatever it is, every week? I don't have a script. I know. But most of our guests, I don't know, and I don't want to know anything about them. Jimmy will start to tell me, and I said, don't, because I don't have a flow. So when I sit here with a guest that I have no idea who it is, I open up my mind and flow. And everything of that person that they need to discuss with me comes into me. This is a wonderful technique that everybody should learn. When you are at a party and many people are speaking, sit there silently and just open your mind and listen to the flow. You're going to hear one voice out of 10 people, all speaking at the same level. You will only hear one voice, and that voice is going to come to you and give you the information that you need. And I believe in that. As an actor, I believe in that. What do you think about flow?
Flash warlock, 100%. Yes, it's because it's consciousness. It is flow, tapping into that flow. We gone through life. I think that's what COVID's about. That's another discussion. But we use it asleep at the wheel, phoned in, by rote, automatic pilot. We were becoming those walking zombies, unconscious, numbed out to everything. Or people would drink or smoke or eat too much or watch TV or all this stuff to stay in that numb position. Wake up, flow. You said, listen, be quiet, pay attention. You're going to tap into everything's out there. I think that's what COVID was about. God, universe, whoever, whatever said, you guys are asleep. Wake up. Tried to shake us and didn't wake up. Threw a little water in our face, didn't wake up. Had to hit us on the head with a 2x4 and said, go to your room for 2 years and don't come out until you wake up. Some people I have
another quick little Hollywood story.
Yeah.
Mr. Blackwell, the 10 worst dressed list guy, was my best buddy. And Blackwell and his lover Spencer were going up to Zsa Zsa Gabor's house in Bel Air, and Blackwell said, "You want to hook a ride with us? You'll meet Zsa Zsa Gabor." I said, "I'd love to. Maybe I'll get an interview out of her." So we went up to Zsa Zsa Gabor's house, and for 1 hour, this woman did not stop talking at all. You couldn't get a word in. She didn't even know we were there. It was as though she was speaking to the curtains, the draperies. So when we left, Blackwell said, "So what'd you think of Gabor?" I said, "I have no idea. I've not met her yet." So that I hadn't met her yet because the person that was there was not interested. That person was so wrapped up in who she was and her conversation. It was all about her, of course. And when you're that kind of a person, you'll go nowhere in this earth because, first of all, you're a bore. And secondly, you're not learning. You're teaching the same crap over and over again that you've done for years. You're giving the same spiel, as they say in Yiddish, spiel, over and over again. So you have to listen. You have to learn. Learning is the most important thing. The brain without learning will become Alzheimer's. I believe that. The people 100%. The people that I know, either from alcohol, mostly alcohol destroys the brain, but for people that didn't drink, were people who stopped learning, and the brain just said, "Okay, you don't need me anymore. Goodbye."
Yeah.
You believe in that?
100%. I don't ever want to stop learning every day.
No.
And the more you learn, the more you know you don't know. And then so I learn a lot. We have to because
I'm a jack of all trades, and I keep learning. I'm a Gemini, and Geminis are habitual learners. I mean, we get bored easily. We need to learn something. I've learned a lot from your book. I'm pleased to say.
Yay,
no, it's a good book. I wouldn't carry on about it. If it was a shitty book, I would have held it up and said, nice book, pretty cover, goodbye. But I really enjoyed it.
So I have a question.
Everybody out there, please get this book. I think it's going to help your personality, and I think it's going to help your lifestyle, and I think it's going to make you a happy person.
So I have a question for you. You said earlier that you do a lot of teaching through your YouTube channel. How do people find your YouTube channel?
Well, my YouTube channel, again, you can get there from pattinegri.com, but I also have a school now, and it's crazy affordable. I didn't want anybody to not be able to afford knowledge. So it literally averages about $10 a class. If you come regularly, it's called University Magicus. That's a little postcard that I put in your book. And again, we don't teach A1, this is a truth, a Christian, Judeo, anything. Our teachers are varied. I have 17 teachers on staff now. I usually teach Tuesdays and Sundays. I teach mediumship development, psychic protection. I'm in the paranormal world with Ghost Adventures and my other shows. So paranormal stuff. I teach animal guides, spirit guides, past life regression, seance etiquette, seance technique, proper seance, and everything with integrity, with ethics, with virtue, with moral code. Because I think you have to have those things. You have to have moral code if you want to really take your life into your own hands and create what you want. If you really don't know what right from wrong or your version of that, let somebody else tell you what to do. But yeah, universitymagicus.com. We sit in little Zoom squares and do magic. It's beautiful.
So how did you, we got like about 3 or 4 minutes left, but I want to know, because Ghost Adventures.
Can I just say one thing quickly? I would like to do that Jane Russell seance.
Okay, let's do it.
I think we might get something out of it. After the show, we'll plan it.
So hang on.
Okay.
So can you, so Ghost Adventures, it's the biggest paranormal show in history. How did you get involved to be on there so many times? Like, how did they find you? Or
the first time was actually they were in Hollywood and they were doing a haunted Hollywood version. I work with the Hollywood Arts Council. I'm on the board of the Hollywood. We bring art into the elementary schools because we know that'll make their math schools better. But anyway, I had done a spirit salon, not like your ghost hunt, everybody dressed in 30s and 40s. My husband's jazz band was playing and I took ghost walks, and I was taking this ghost walk and there sat Charlie Chaplin at the American Legion. And I told whoever ran the place, I go, Charlie Chaplin is here right in this chair. I didn't know it, but little Ben announced to me, that is the chair he sat in every day or every Friday for years and years and years until he was kicked out of the club. And they told Ghost Adventures that. So Ghost Adventures called me in because that show, I've been working at 7-8 years now, which is a lot. But they called me in and said, we heard that. And I go, yeah. And he goes, you didn't know that this was Charlie Chaplin? No. So every show forever, they'd always have the one local person who's experienced something, or the one local psychic or psychic medium who is there. And that's probably what I was to be. But I think we just hit it off, like you were saying, that flow. They saw my experience, they saw my knowledge, education, all that, and heard about my seance ability, because my seances aren't let's talk to the dead. I raise the veil so everybody gets to talk to the dead. So they started just calling me Black Dahlia house next, and then this house, and then that house, either to walk through that and tell them what happened or not. And I don't know anything. I literally, if need be, blindfolded, thrown in the trunk of the car. I walk in and they say, you tell us what happened here. Yeah, okay.
I love it. I love that. I actually wrote a biography. I did a documentary on Charlie Chaplin, and so I wrote like a biography.
Really, that is cool.
And I have to say something. I was chosen to be in all the airports. If you're waiting for a flight, watch the monitor, because I'm there telling people how I met Jane Russell, the psychic way I met her. Yeah, a voice came to me after the passing of my lover and said, find Jane Russell, because I was very in a bad way. And I went and found Jane Russell, and we became buddies, brother and sister.
Best friends, yes.
Best friends. And I think she saved my soul from a lot of pain, because in knowing her and talking about her second husband, who she loved very much, who had passed away, we had a lot in common. So I tell this story, of course, in full at the airport. And I hope that people that watch it don't say, oh, he's crazy.
Who cares?
You know, no, I hope they learn from it and say that, yeah, sometimes you hear a voice. Doesn't mean you're schizophrenic. It means that sometimes there is a voice.
All right, everybody, because we got to move forward. We want to thank Patti for coming on the show.
Yes.
Here is her book, The World Magic for the Modern World. It's pattinegri.com, PattiNegri.com. Patti, we want to thank you for coming on the show. We'll bring you back. We had a great time. The chat room loved you. So best of luck with everything you do, and I'm sure we'll see you at some events soon.
Yeah,
very soon. The world's coming back. Yes.
I'm gonna introduce you to my very good friend Sue Wong. She will definitely enjoy knowing you, because she's a very mystical. She's Chinese and she believes in all the cultures, and she's very, very mystical woman.
I gotta like it.
Asian cultures are much more mystical than our way.
Oh yeah. Anyway, you're a delight. Thank you for giving us a wonderful show. And please, everybody, get the book. I wouldn't steer you wrong. I wouldn't lie about it.
Bye, Patti. Thanks.
Bye, Patti.
We want to mention just welcome Meg Rudick joined us in the chat room.
You know, psychic. See, we just talked about psychics. I said to Jimmy not 3 hours ago, I'm going to call Meg. I've got to call Meg, and there's Meg now in my.
We also want to welcome Jeff Caperton, who's tuning in for Adrian Zmed, also who's coming on. So what's up, Jeff? We're gonna take a 2-minute.
Meg, did you like that segment?
She just tuned in now.
Oh,
so
Meg, you had to see about the Meg. It was.
You guys, we're gonna do a quick music break. We're gonna play Young Zuck Overseas. It's like a 2-minute song, and then when we come back, we're gonna welcome Adrian to the show. So go ahead, Juan. Let's take it away. Young Zuck Overseas. You guys will be right back.
DJ production. Got my drip from overseas. Got my drip from overseas. Rockin' Louis V. All white kicks when they kick it low key. Shawty bust down, slim thick in them jeans. I'm gonna take a flight and we going overseas. Got my drip from overseas. Rockin' Louis V. All white kicks when they kick it low key. Shawty bust down, slim thick in them jeans. I'm gonna take a flight and we going overseas. Got my drip from overseas. Rockin' Louis V. I got plenty money and bitches they on me. I'm a fly turn. She be acting like she know me, but bitch, that's the old me. Cut you all quick, I'm so tired of that faking and capping. That bitch be all up on my dick, but I can't for no average. My new girl know that she the shit, swear to God she the baddest. We gon' pull up, drop and quit, tell them boys in the attic. I count on 40, 50, ever since she love me, she rolling with me. I've been on my grind, I'ma go and get it. Catch me at the top now, posted with a Glock now. Ooh, I'm so hot now, got to the money. Roll to the money, skirt off in that ghost on you dummy. Oh, so you know me, I just wanna go to the money. Roll to the money, skirt off in that ghost on you dummy. Oh, so now you know me, yeah. Rockin' Louis V, hallway kicks when they kick it low key. Shawty bust down, slim thick in them jeans. I'm gonna take a flight and we going overseas. I'm from overseas, I'm rockin' Louis V. I got plenty money and bitches they on me. I'm a fly turn young and I've been sounding rolly. She be acting like she know me, but bitch that's the old me. Yeah. First class, you know how we roll through. Got designer on my jeans with the hoes too. Yeah, I take it back, drop it for the all you. Everything I want, baby, I just bought it brand new. I got the ones, the twos, the threes, trees in the forest. Hop out the wind with a suicide door, yeah. Made the crowd scream, different city, world tour, yeah. I gotta have it all, but I really want more. What's new? Yeah, you see me on the news. Wanna take a picture, I don't wanna take it too. Say I'm looking fresh, I'm the flyest in the room. Me and Mari taking off, we gon' meet you at the new overseas. Rockin' Louis V, yeah. All white kicks, wanna kick it low key. Yeah, shorty bust down, slim thick, in them jeans. I'm gonna take a flight and we going overseas. I'ma ship 'em overseas, rockin' Louis V. I got plenty money and bitches stay on me. I'm a fly, turn young and up, it's time to rollie. She be acting like she know me, but bitch, that's the old me. Yo, overseas, we out in this bitch right now.
Yo, everybody. So that's Young Zuck. We're going to see them. They're going to be at the Clown Motel 2 premiere we're going to at the end of the month. But now we're ready to bring on our next guest. And hopefully everything we can hear and everything rocks and rolls. Let's see how we do, everybody. We're bringing in Adrian Zmed. Hello.
Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Ron.
Oh, good. We can hear you. Perfect. Terrific. Exciting.
I'm not allowed to speak until he introduces me. Otherwise, he chops my fucking head off.
So here we go, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, actor, producer, director Adrian Zmed. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. Where are you based out of? Where are you right now?
We're in Palm Springs.
Roasting up.
Well, you're not far from me. I'm in Vegas.
Yes. Oh, you're in a hot area too. Like it's 115 here today.
Yeah, I think it's close to that here too. But you know, it's funny. The people in Palm Springs, California, and Las Vegas, we're kind of used to these triple digits. The rest of the world is not. We're prepared for it, but
who said
we've only lived here for 4 years?
Wait, hang on, gang. Who said we're used to it? Are you kidding? Are you kidding me?
I like. So I'm from Florida, so I'm used to hot heat and humidity.
I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. The only heat I knew was the cops.
So welcome to the show. And before we start talking about everything, I just want to tell you. So I did a lot of like research on all the stuff that you've been in, just so I would have some idea, because Ron doesn't look anybody up. So I looked everything up, and I always knew that you sang, but I didn't really realize, you know, when we spoke on the phone a couple of weeks ago, like the extent of it all. So I actually listened to your debut album today on YouTube, the Adrian Zmed self-titled album. It's actually streaming on YouTube, and you really sing. I mean, no, I'm not kidding you. You really can sing, and I was super excited.
What kind of singing?
He did pop rock. It's from the 80s. You know, he did the album in like 1980.
What songs?
His songs.
Oh, he wrote them?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if he wrote. Did you write them?
No. Actually, they were produced by. I think 2 people in Saskatchewan bought the album, but you know that it didn't do very well because my fans. I wanted to be a rocker, and my fans wanted to hear pop, and we went a certain way, and it didn't work out.
But you know what? I really enjoyed listening to it. So I listened to it while I was looking through your IMDb and watching the Grease 2, clips and things like that.
Forte has been Broadway musicals. I mean, that's really been my bread and butter for over 40 years of being in the entertainment industry. I started out as Danny Zuko in the original Grease on Broadway, and then just went on to do about 20 to 25 Broadway musicals and tours at this point. So that's really been my background my entire life. I television and film just kind of like came to me by chance. I even though I went to Hollywood and had quite a career in Hollywood, I returned to the stage, and that's really kind of like if these days, if I'm acting, I'd rather be on stage rather than in front of a camera. I'd rather be behind the camera these days, but if I'm acting, I'd rather be on stage.
People think it's fun making movies. It stinks. I hate it. For the 2 seconds. No, I do my 7 lines, and then 5 hours later, a next setup, I do 7 more lines, and then next thing I know, 14 hours went by, and I do 7 more lines. And what do you do in between your lines? You just walk around like an idiot. You can't make any noise. You can't speak because the mic might pick it up. Torture. when you're on Broadway, my darling. You go out on the boards, and there they are, the audience, and they love you, and they applaud, and they laugh when you want them to laugh. It's an experience. Actually, you can't compare stage to film.
Hang on 1 second. So we have a chat room full of people, and first of all, B. Claudia is in Germany. She says your album came out in 1984. They all like love you. Are you a hold on, what did it say, Don? What did you write?
I lost my sound.
Oh, Don, do you lost your sound?
Come back.
Are you a Cubs fan or Wrigley's fan? I don't know. She said her dog's name Wrigley. Are you a Cubs fan?
Absolutely fanatic. I grew up 5 blocks from Wrigley Field as a child, so I'm a lifelong diehard Cubs fan, whether they're winning or whether they're losing. If I didn't spend my youth in the stands, I would be outside Wrigley Field with a baseball mitt, waiting for a ball to come over the fence.
This is how fabulous our fans are. They like know everything about you. They're like, because they're actually saying she named her dog Wrigley, you know, after that. And
right.
That is an awesome name for a dog.
And you never snuck in?
Oh God, yes, all the time. Back in the 60s when I was a kid, the stands were filled. There were only day games. Because they didn't have lights.
No,
not until 1988.
No night lights. You're right.
Right. So there were only day games. So as a kid, in the summer, the stands were filled with kids only, because the adults did not play hooky from work to go to day games to see the Cubs. It wasn't a big thing, yuppie thing back, in the 80s. I think we owe it a lot to Harry Carey for bringing in so many yuppies into to watch the Cubs back in the 80s and all. But back in the late mid to late 60s, man, the only people in the stands were kids. I think you used to hear somebody over the PA system at Wrigley Field saying, "Hey, Mrs. Johnson, come pick up your kids. They're beating the Cubs 12-0 in the bottom of the 7th."
So
that's very true. Fathers back in my day were not the fathers of today. My father never changed a diaper. My father never burped a baby, and my father never pushed a baby carriage because it was not manly. My father was a strict father, and I only saw him when he was being a disciplinarian. So I grew up kind of without parents. I had parents, wonderful parents, but I didn't have the parents that parents are today. I didn't have birthday parties. Nobody took me to a foreign place for my birthday like they have today. They go to God knows where, to Europe for a birthday party. And we grew up different. So we snuck into the Astoria pool for free, and we snuck into all the stadiums to watch baseball games. We were good sneaks. We learned.
Well, you grew up in the city. So did I. And I grew up in the middle of Chicago. And when, I was 5 years old, and I'd walk out in the morning and I wouldn't come back until the evening, even at that age.
Me too. Me too.
Because the city was my playground.
I was raised in the Brooklyn projects, the Red Hook projects, and there was a park called Coffee Park, which was about 4 blocks away, and they had sprinklers going, water sprinklers. And I was about 4 or 5 years old. I'd ride my tricycle, my little 3-wheel bicycle there, get out, take off my clothes, be in my underwear, and go under the sprinklers, and then go home and get a beating because I crossed the street. And I was told, never cross that street.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So real quick, do me a favor. So say hi to Don Hinton in the chat room.
Hi, Don.
And then we have B. Claudia in Germany.
Hi, B.
And Teresa in Florida, because they're like 3 of our biggest supporters, and they're actually just throwing all these facts in here all about
and say hello to my dear friend Meg Rudin.
Rudick. Oh, and Jeff Caperton. Say hi to Meg and Jeff. Jeff joined us because he wants to. He's a guest, actually. He's an actor who comes on the show often, and he actually is in the chat room because of you. So there you go. Thank you.
My friend Meg is my Grace Kelly lookalike. She's my beautiful friend who I'm crazy about.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit. So first of all, do you, because you're still working on Broadway, and we always ask a lot of actor questions, but do you have difficulty remembering lines, or is it just still come very easy for you?
No, it's pretty easy. It's funny. Lines have never been a problem for me because if it's well written It's easy.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You finally said something that I've been saying for so long. The shitty lines I get, who the fucking remember them? I mean, I play a wise guy, a tough guy, a mafioso, a killer, right? And I get a line like, "Oh gosh, darn shucks, stop that." I mean, that doesn't work, baby. Let's really get real. Some writers just, I don't know. I agree with you, my buddy.
No,
yes.
It's very easy to memorize lines that make sense. It's the thought.
Yes. Oh, I love him.
The thought that you memorize. And
can I make out with you for an hour? Can I make out with you for an hour? I mean, I love you. I love you. You're saying everything I've been saying for years on this show, and nobody really understood me. Thank you. I'm so happy.
I think that's hilarious. So let's talk a little bit, because Grease 2 for me was like a really big deal, and we've actually several people in it we actually knew. We actually have had Eddie Deason on the show, and Ron was really.
I love Eddie.
Ron was friends with Tab Hunter, and he also interviewed. Ron used to have a show called Set the Record Straight, and interviewed all the Hollywood legends, and so he actually interviewed.
He is such a great human being. I love him.
I miss him totally.
And Lorna left.
I know Lorna also.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm bringing it up.
But let's talk about Tab Hunter. Tab Hunter was a buddy. Tab Hunter was real. Tab Hunter was kind, sweet, generous, giving, loving, adorable. I love the man to pieces.
We also had Christopher McDonald on our show. So in Grease too, we've had four people on there, not including Maxwell Caulfield, Michelle Pfeiffer, Sid Caesar, Dee Dee Connie Stevens, and Dodie Goodman. So tell us a little bit about, now that I know you actually were singing like all that like stuff, because I watched about 15 clips today. Of it, and you performing and stuff, which you were fabulous, in it. You're really, really good. And that was a really, I think I don't know if that's your biggest credit, but that's a really big credit, that how everybody like knows you as soon as we mention your name. That and TJ Hooker, it's like made you like an overnight
I really
superstar.
know him more from Broadway, I have to well, I'm a New Yorker, so I know Broadway, but I really know his name from Broadway more than I do from film. I can't think of one Broadway play that you Grease. No, I never saw Grease on Broadway. So I've seen.
Go back though.
I know his name. I've seen him.
I want to go back
things.
to Grease too. I want to go back to Grease too, though. Actually, another thing I found very cool is the fact, because we have a lot of friends that are in the Sharknado movies, and basically they only pick icons, to have those cameos. And the fact that you were in Sharknado 4, which we had actually a whole bunch of friends of ours are in Sharknado 4.
I saw you in that.
And I also.
Wayne Newton and I were killed by the sharks in the opening credits of one of the movies. Yes.
When Jimmy told me we're going to watch Sharknado, I said, "What's that about?" He said, "Well, sharks fall from the sky and eat people." I said, "Get the fuck out of here! Are you kidding me?" Oh, you got to be kidding. That's got to be a real piece of shit. Well, when I saw it, I loved it. I thought it was.
We watched all of them.
I thought it was a high camp. It was so stupid and so funny that I loved it. It was fun.
It's definitely a throwback to the days of spoofy, science fiction movies.
Yeah, like Kill a Tomato.
About Grease 2.
Yes.
I had left Broadway. I had done the original Grease on Broadway, and then I did the Tommy Tune revival in the 90s.
Tommy Tune revival. There you go.
Yeah, and then in between all of that, I did several tours and stuff. So it's funny. Nobody has played Danny Zuko more than I have in the history of the Broadway show. I actually played Danny in 3 decades, which is kind of unheard of. But Grease 2 came about because of, I really owe it to Pat Birch. Pat Birch choreographed the original show on Broadway, and Pat Birch directed Grease 2, the movie. And she was given the task of, doing a sequel of Grease, a very successful movie. And they wanted because John and Olivia didn't do it. They were doing a whole different take on Grease, which was really kind of original what they were trying to do. They kept all the teachers from in the school, but the old 1959 class had graduated. So now it's 1962. A couple of years later, and here is our graduating class, and it's all a bunch of new greasers, except for Frenchie and for Eddie Deason. We're really the only 2 characters left over, because they were the youngest of the greasers.
Wasn't the guy the bad guy in the first Grease?
Oh yes.
He was in it too.
Yeah,
I forgot his name. I apologize, but he was in it too. I don't know if he was a student though, but he was in it.
No, he was never a student. He was just part of a gang.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Cool. And anyway, because of the nature of the way it was, Pat really wanted to have me in the movie because I had just left the original show on Broadway by about a year. So I was really basically bringing my Danny Zuko to the screen in the character that I was playing. But they wanted a rock star. Alan Carr and Robert Stigwood really wanted a rock star in that role because Maxwell and Michelle weren't names at that point, so they wanted names in a couple of the other roles, and they really, it was really Pat Birch was my champion because she brought me in right after they would audition a rock star. She'd bring me in right after that, and I'd audition again. And I went through about 10 to 12 auditions.
Oh, wow.
For callbacks for it. And every single time, Robert and Alan said, all right, Zmed still has the role, but it just kept on going down until I finally got it. So I really owe it to her that she was my champion and giving me that shot. But honestly, it was one of the easiest roles I've ever done on film because I was just putting my Broadway performance on film, and I had a blast. Plus, I didn't have the pressure of carrying the picture. Right. Maxwell and Michelle did because they were touted as the stars of the picture. So I just had fun the whole time. And Pat let me run amok with so many things. One of the great stories that I have from Grease too, there was a song called Prowlin. It's when none of us are getting anywhere with our girlfriends. And I say, well, you want to know something? The best place to meet a girl is at the grocery store. So we do a whole song about meeting girls at the grocery store after that. And the way you do it in movie musicals is you record the song first before you ever shoot it. Okay, then you lip sync it as you're doing it. And we were in maybe month 3 or 4 of the shooting schedule. We were way behind schedule, and we had just recorded it, and we only had maybe 2 weeks left of shooting time to finish the movie. And they weren't going to film that song. They were going to only use it as part of a song at the talent show. But when they heard the recording, they said, wow, this is one of the best songs in the show right now. We've got to record this. So literally, Pat came up with an idea. Pat Birch, the director, came up with an idea on how to shoot this one entire song in a 24-hour period, which is unheard of in film. It's really unheard of. Because of camera angles and locations and stuff. So we had a night shoot at a gas station, and we started the song at the gas station, and then we finished it in this high school auditorium as if we were rehearsing it for the talent show. Oh. Mm-hmm. And she and the editors and the director of photography spent that night figuring out how to shoot it and where to shoot it and everything. And I and the guys kind of like choreographed that number on what was comfortable for us to do. So that was one of the really cool. It was almost like doing theater on film because we did it in a 24-hour period, and we almost had to like do it in one take. So many of the shots, so it was almost like doing it live.
It's cool. It's a movie that still holds up. I mean, I watched it a few times. It's got a lot of good songs in it, and good dancing and good choreography, and it's campy, and also it's from my day. So
and when you ride up on the motorcycle, you look great.
Right.
It's funny. I had never been on a motorcycle before that movie, and I had gotten so crazy about being on that motorcycle. I used to like steal the motorcycle at lunchtime and do crazy things with it. I literally flew off the handlebars about 7 or 8 times. They finally started locking up the bike so that I wouldn't somehow.
So you wouldn't take off with it.
Well, because if he hurt himself, there you go. How are they going to continue without him?
It happened on Hooker many times. We did our own stunts, and there was a 2-week period where I couldn't walk. So they stuck me behind the desk at times. And there's a reason why you have a stunt man or a stunt woman.
Definitely.
You're putting a lot of people out of work.
Absolutely.
But
you're holding up a film.
Yeah, I am fortunate to have been in a cult classic. I mean, right now, today, Grease 2 it outssells and outrents Grease 1. And I think it's because it's a lot more kid friendly, to be perfectly honest. You know, the movie's not about a girl getting pregnant and knocked up and a girl changing and turning into a slut, as the first one was. So,
Yes. I love it.
I don't remember that in the first one.
What are you talking about? That's the one. The whole first one was all about that.
Who got knocked up?
Rizzo.
Yeah, Rizzo gets knocked up.
Oh, Rizzo. Well, Rizzo was a slut. Anyway, no, I mean, she was the whore of the whole.
That's his whole point. That was his point.
No, I meant she wasn't the central figure. She was just one of the characters.
No, yeah.
It was what's his name?
John Travolta.
Travolta, and they were the star.
But
and that wonderful song at the end, I loved it. When she's in the black leather, what's that song?
Right, but think about it. Today's standards, she is a girl who was a good girl, you know, a nice girl and everything, and then she kind of like turns somewhat and very slutty at the very end to please her man.
No, you're right.
Like today.
That's funny though, because my favorite song like is Rizzo's "That There Are Worse Things I Could Do" from the first.
Right, yeah.
That's my actually favorite song of the whole thing.
What is the song that they sing? That Coming Alive, Singing Alive?
No, Grease.
What is it?
We go to
Saturday Night Fever.
I love that song.
We go together. I know there's a whole bunch of. I know all the songs from the first Grease.
Yeah, I love those movies. I think they're classic.
We watch them all the time, especially now that we'll probably watch Grease 2 now that we've had you on the show, since we haven't seen it like lately, because since we know so many people in it, it'll be a lot of fun. So then how long was it from when you went to Grease 2 to TJ Hooker?
Actually, the story with that is that I shot the pilot of Hooker in January, and we found out that we were picked up, but not as a regular as a fall show. We were picked up as a fall replacement for shows that might fail. But so I was on contract to the show for and I couldn't do another TV show, so my agent started looking, you know, for a movie, and it just happened to be that Grease was shooting in that year, and I think the shooting started somewhere in February, March, and all, and it literally fit in perfectly because Grease had not even, Hooker had not even aired at that point. So we shot Grease, and then in the fall we shot 8 more episodes of TJ Hooker when we were picked up, and that following year Grease 2 was released while Hooker was on the air in the first year.
Yeah, that had to be a wild ride for you, because then you're like on the most popular movie and the most popular TV show.
Well, also made his salary go up. Let's not forget that. That's the most important part.
So I wasn't out yet, like when TJ Hooker came out, but my whole life have had a crush on William Shatner. But then in my straight persona, Heather Locklear was like my ideal like woman. So it was like my favorite show, because the not out me yet loved Heather Locklear, and the gay me loved William Shatner. So how was that working with William Shatner and Heather Locklear? Because they're still very iconic.
Oh, I love them both dearly. Look, I was one of the luckiest guys in Hollywood to suddenly be opposite William Shatner, and an iconic, legend even at that point. The funny thing about Hooker was the pilot was about 12 rookie cops, and it was a 2-hour pilot. It was a TV movie that was a backdoor pilot. And Bill was the sergeant at the academy, teaching and mentoring these 12 cops. But from the pilot to when it was picked up, literally 11 guys were not brought back, and I was put in the squad car with him. And the whole concept of it kind of changed a lot. It's like I graduated and was put into a car with Bill. Is how that all worked. So honestly, I wasn't just one of 12 guys at that point anymore. Like I was in the 2-hour movie version of it. I was starring with him in the show, and I was in a squad car 13 hours a day with the man. And he was my mentor. I mean, I had not had a lot of experience in front of a camera, and acting in front of a camera and on stage is completely different in terms of the energy that you give. And just honestly, just watching him in a close up, it helped me move on, to make adjustments with my own performances at times. Plus, Bill's a funny guy. He has a great sense of humor, and we kept each other alive by joking with each other constantly, on that show for 5 years.
Love it. I love it.
I'd like to explain.
Heather came along, and God, who wouldn't love working with Heather? She's one of the most
fabulous
in the world.
So I'm really big.
I want to explain something to our audience. The difference from stage to theater to movie is, on stage, you're bigger than life. In film, you're smaller than life. That's the difference. When you act for a camera, you underplay it. But when you're on the stage, you have to be big. So it's difficult for a stage person to come into film because they're so used to being big that sometimes they look like Norma Desmond,
Right. I teach master classes at Stella Adler occasionally, and it's a class called Theater to Film. Because when I graduated from acting school, which was Goodman School of Drama in Chicago, I didn't have any experience in front of a camera. So when they asked me to teach there, I said, let me think about it. And what I didn't have was that experience in front of the camera, and I had to learn on camera and go to watch the rushes and the dailies. For the people out there who don't know what rushes and dailies are, it's the stuff that you shot the day before, and at lunchtime you usually watch what you did. But this theater to film, the biggest thing that I say to the students is, on stage you are lifelike. On film you have to be life.
Exactly.
And there's a huge difference in the energy of doing that. And you do need your whole body on stage to convey that to the last seat, the last row in a theater. Whereas in film, it's all right there. It's all right as a close up in the face, and the eyes are the windows of the soul. And if you're not really,
what do I always say?
Right. If you are not in the moment and honest to the material and really feeling what you are doing on camera, it's a boring performance, and people will go to sleep. And
you cannot fool the camera. Don't ever try.
Right. It's the best lie detector in the world.
Oh yeah, you can't fool it. The camera picks up the most minute thing. I did stand-up comedy in nightclubs for 46 years? Yeah, 46 years. So I was so used to live audiences, hitting the button for the laugh and waiting, pausing, let them laugh long enough, come back. That when you're doing a movie, it's not that way at all. You have no control over the camera. The camera controls you, or if you're lucky, a director. Right. Today, the directors stink anyway. I had maybe one or two good directors in a few movies. How about you? You have any good director? I was directed by Sidney Lumet when I was 19.
Ah, cool.
And from there now, it's downhill. Who's your best director? Who was your best director?
Oh my God! Honestly, look, they're far in between, because most, if in terms of television, not necessarily film, but in terms of television, most directors are ex-cameramen who you graduate to it, and they really don't know a lot about acting. They're hired to set up shots and efficiently get through a day without going overtime and paying the crew extra money. So the performance is really left up to the actor. Whereas in film, it's a lot more organic, and you take more time and you rehearse more and all. But look, I'm going to go back to Pat Birch. She was one of the best directors I've ever had on film, because she trusted the actors and she let the actors explore. And
that's a good director.
And do things and stuff. Another terrific director that I had was actually the first horror picture, first movie that I ever did with Daryl Hannah and Rachel Ward, was called The Final Terror. And Andy Davis was the director. He went on to direct The Fugitive, the movie.
Good direction
and all, and he was quite a terrific director too. But I had the great pleasure of being directed in television by some really, really fine directors who were directors. For example, the first TV show that I ever did called Flatbush, and it was one of those hybrids of
Lords
Saturday.
of Flatbush, right?
Right.
It was like a hybrid from the Lords of Flatbush.
No, it was actually more like Saturday Night Fever. It was
okay.
It was one of those, there were like 10 shows that came out after Saturday Night Fever hit the airwaves, and
Italian mafia Brooklyn put down.
Right. But it was at that time that and it was a Lorimar production, who was, of course, Dallas and
Yes.
and had a lot of nighttime soap operas that were famous, but they were dabbling into something that was a little bit more comic with that show. And I had some really outstanding directors on that show that helped me tremendously. One of them was Bill Asher, who directed almost all of the I Love Lucy's.
And Bewitched.
Oh, and
Didn't he do Bewitched with Elizabeth Montgomery?
Yes, and he married Elizabeth
He
Montgomery.
married her. That's right.
Yeah, and became a very, very close friend. And every time I'd come through, he lived in Palm Springs. Every time I'd come through a national tour, Bill would come and see my shows, and all. We stayed very close friends until he passed away. And all. And he was really remarkable in mentoring and telling me the stories of how things were created, and all. And then another terrific director that I had that helped me, and he told me something that I'll tell you in a second, that really helped me in my frustration with television. His name was Tony Mordente. He was married to Cheetah Rivera, and he was the original.
Oh, I love Cheetah.
Yeah, he was the original action in the movie West Side Story. And he went on to do a lot of TV drama and action shows on it. And going back to Lorimar, they were trying to dabble into something that was a little more light and comic with this show that we were doing, Flatbush. And each day we would get new rewrites of the show, and it was handed to us, and it was a completely different show almost every single day. And we were frustrated. We didn't know what to do. Tony Mordente took me aside and he said, let me tell you something about television, Adrian. One day, all the network executives went into a meeting room to design a picture of a horse. 13 hours later, they came out with a picture of a camel. Everybody knows what a horse looks like, but they had to compromise because everybody had their ideas of what it should look like. And it does not look like a horse. It looks like something else completely different. And it kind of made sense to me then after a while why everything changes in television constantly, because there's so many cooks that put their 2 cents into the whole
Absolutely.
Thing.
Like
so
Alfred Hitchcock, who everybody will agree is a wonderful director, never directed. I'm good friends with Tippi Hedren, and Tippi and I discussed it. And Alfred Hitchcock would say, listen, I pay you, you're an actor, so act. You got your lines, go do it. And he let the actors do their own interpretation. And one scene was where in The Birds, where Tippi was supposed to go into the room where his mother, I forgot her name, the wonderful actress, the old lady, what the hell was her name? Anyway, Tippi was supposed to go into that room and give her tea. And Tippi went in and played it really bitchy. And that's the only time that Hitchcock ever said something. And the actress that she was playing it to, the wonderful old lady, said, the audience will like you better, Tippi, if you're sweet. Being bitchy to me now is not going to work. And that was the only time Tippi said she was ever directed, was when they said, play it sweet, don't play it bitchy.
Yeah. One of the things that I learned early on was no matter what character you're playing, there has to be a touch of vulnerability to the character for people to
like you.
Even if you're a tough guy, like, for example, my Johnny Nagarelli in Grease 2 was supposed to be the tough guy leader of the gang, but he was very vulnerable. And I discovered that early on, that was a much more likable quality when people, well, first of all, I knew what the magic of Grease was, that they were kids in high school who were trying to be tough, but they're not. They're high school kids. They're learning life is what they're doing, and that's what made the stage version so popular. because that's in fact, I think Grease 2 actually captured more of the essence of the stage version than the first one, because the first one became a vehicle for John and Olivia and was more about them, whereas Grease 2 was really more about the two gangs of the Pink Ladies and the T-Birds,
Right.
and every one of the characters were quite vulnerable and making mistakes constantly, you know, in the show. Even my character was supposed to be the guy who was in control all the time.
No, but being vulnerable, I agree. When I always play a very tough, mean Brooklyn wise guy, killer, murderer, gangster. I don't play it hard, because if I play it hard, people will just like me. I play it stupid. And when you play it, no, really, when you, like, in other words, let me just speak to you. Get over here, Eddie. What do you think you're doing over there? You're going to do something for me? No, you're not doing anything for me. Hey, give me a break already. People like that because they think you're stupid, uneducated, and they feel sorry for you. And that makes the character warm and nice. If I did it in a way where I was arrogant and nasty, the audience would say, fuck him, you know? So you have to play it fun. Yes, I agree with you.
So hang on, we've got, because we've only got like 4 minutes left, and so I want to ask. This is a question I like to ask all the actors, and for you, I'm going to change it a little bit, but like, so it'll be a 3-part question. Number 1, if you could have ever been in any movie that's ever been made, what movie would you like to be in? Part 2, male and female actors on a bucket list, like who you would kind of like to work with that you haven't had an opportunity, and then the twist to the whole thing will be shut up.
We have a little 7-pound horror.
Somebody just rang the doorbell. The other part will be, if you could have been in any Broadway musical, what would you have liked to have been in?
Wow. What kind of dog? What kind of dog was it?
He's a poodle terrier mix.
7 pounds, a little 7-pound guy with a big mouth. He's a tough guy. He protects us.
Well, Lee, I don't know where I start. If there's any role that I would have liked in a film,
who would you have liked to have played in any movie ever
in history,
in the history of movies?
It's not more that I wanted to play a particular character. What I always really wanted to do, I wanted to do more. Fortunately, I was in a cop show where I did a lot of physical action stuff, but I always wanted to do a period piece, actually, you know, like do more action. I wanted to do more action period pieces. I had done a lot of Shakespeare, for example, when I was studying acting, and I never had an opportunity on camera to do you know, that kind of acting. And I had always, for example, like the Three Musketeers or something like that.
Right.
You know, I would love to have done it, to do some sword fighting and some action stuff. Because
Errol Flynn stuff.
Right. So I would have loved to have done Zorro. You know what I mean? The original, you know, role of Zorro on camera. And when you say a Broadway show, wow, probably every show that I didn't get.
The show I would have loved to have been in, only because I loved it so much, was Mame with Angela Lansbury. That's my favorite musical. And I would have just loved to have been a piece of furniture sitting on stage with her. I wouldn't have had to have a line.
I had the great honor of doing a Murder, She Wrote with her. What a class act lady.
I love her. I've met her a few times, and I love and adore her. She's a classy lady. She's got style and beauty at her age still. She's 90-something, and she's still a beautiful woman.
Yeah. Now, one of your other questions was, is there somebody that I would have loved to have worked with? Honestly, because of my theater background and everything, I would have loved to have even been an extra or a small role in theater with the show that starred Laurence Olivier. I would have loved.
That's terrific.
I would have loved to have experienced his work process.
Yeah.
In both on stage and on camera, because he was different. He approached it differently. I love that. So many books about him and everything. So those are, I guess, to answer those 3 questions.
He was all style and class, and he liked to put on fake noses. So he would change his persona. He didn't care about his looks. He didn't want to be pretty. He wanted to be an actor, and it shows in his work.
So everybody, this is Adrian Zmed. He is on Instagram, even though he doesn't post that often. It's at Adrian Zmed. And
to be perfectly honest, it's usually my wife that's posting on Instagram.
There you go. Check out all his stuff. We want to thank you for coming on the show. We got like 30 seconds left, so we want to thank you for coming on the show. You're a true talent. Congratulations on all your past successes and future successes coming up. We really appreciate you coming on the show. We think you're great, and the chat room and everybody loved it.
And we will see you on the silver screen.
Absolutely.
The quick plug that I do want to make, I have before the pandemic hit, I was on tour with a beautiful little show called Middletown. The pandemic slowed it down, and they're going to start booking it again in 2023. So look for a beautiful little play called Middletown coming to you somewhere in a town in America in 2023.
We'll bring you back on and we'll promote it.
When it happens, we'll do it.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, babe.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed both of our guests. They were fabulous. We want to thank everybody. Thank Juan, our engineer, and you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, we in the mix. Yeah, we in the mix. It's another episode. Here we go. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Interviewing the hottest, newest, and truest of today's celebrities. Make sure to subscribe so you can get notified weekly. Jimmy Star, he's the king of cool. Ron Russell, he's a gorgeous dude. Chat room is live and you would be a fool not to vibe with us at the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. So come watch it live on W4CY Radio. Miss some past episodes? Download on iTunes. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. It's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell.